Hello, friends.
Hi.
We missed you.
We did.
It's been like a week. How have you been?
So
You look thinner. I love
They're like,
that.
well, thanks.
I love that piece of clothing on you. It looks very fitting.
Imagine somebody's listening to this naked.
I love that sock on your cock.
Episode 61. We're going to start the episode now. That's so fucking serious.
Yes! Welcome to the Nick and Tub
podcast. That was good. Again, I'm always fucking stoked on it.
I'm like, that fucking dumb podcast. I like it.
It's fucking good shit. That was so good.
Dude, this is the best fucking thing we've ever done.
So I just jotted down like random notes because one of the things that I realized that we had, I don't know, because I joke around episode 58 being boring because this is now 61, right?
Yeah.
But I don't really remember 58, so maybe that's why I thought it was boring. But I feel like we haven't like.
I think the reason you thought 58 was boring was
It was 8 in the morning.
well, A, because we don't remember it, and B, when we were trying to look for a clip, typically when we do is we skim through our video and we find like funny parts about us laughing really hard, but we didn't have that in that one because it was more of a serious one.
Yeah, I think it was just that mixed in with tired and mixed in with just nonsense. But I just jotted down stuff because I feel like we haven't checked in. Not that people want that or people do care or don't care. It doesn't fucking matter. But I was just like, I don't know, like random shit. We haven't really talked about us. We talked about like, I don't know, scientific shit or world events and all that. So time to get personal. I quit the band.
Yeah, I was waiting on that.
Yeah, that fucking sucked. No, it's one of those. What?
It was how they take it.
I'll get to that. Really well,
That's good.
really fucking well. Which actually made it like as much as it almost makes it worse. Like it almost adds,
so you don't need me.
no, it was like you're a really cool dude and we totally understand. And I was like, fuck. Like I almost want you to get mad at me so I can leave with a bad taste in my mouth, only just due to the fact because then I will be like, well,
Fuck those guys.
Yeah, exactly. Versus
Selfish.
like,
Selfish.
yes, and it is. It's 100% selfish. But no, it got to a point where I keep doing this thing with my mouth. If my mouth sounds dry, like if people hear me doing that, sorry. I'm so sorry. Coffee. So I'll try and stay away from the mic. It got to a point where I was taking on way too many things.
Yeah.
I got this. I have my photography, my video. I have working for my boss. I had the band. And then on top of that, maintaining friendships and family time. I haven't hung out with my brother Chris since Christmas. I don't remember the last time other than our group text when I talked to him. And granted, we don't talk very much. It's just that's always been our like natural relationship.
Yeah, but you notice what gets put to the back burner.
Exactly. And there's just way too many projects and trying to figure out like where to take this next and what to do and how to do it. Just all these different fucking things. I kept crashing and burning like every 2 or 3 days. I was just like having fucking meltdown after meltdown and trying to span out my time. Like I would go to work and get off at, 2:00. And normally for that day, I was supposed to get off at 4, but got off early at 2. Practice didn't start till 8. And I'm not going to go from LA back home, back to Burbank. So it's like, what do I do for fucking 6 hours? And I was like, that alone, and especially if I like forgot my laptop so I couldn't do any editing, or if I needed to go home to shoot. So because I'm trying to do a lot more shooting, which I have been successful at lately, which is really fucking nice.
I would say very nice.
And so I'm pushing more on that, and I'm actually trying to push forward on like getting more of my own jobs and all this other shit. And I had gone to practice the last time, last week. Yeah, it was last week. And I go in there and mind you, when I started the band, and I've mentioned this here and I mentioned it to you, it was like, oh yeah, I just want to make a 5 or 6 song EP with the guys. And if people like it and they want to have us play shows here and there. that's as simple as I wanted it to be. And with them, they have their regular jobs, which are really good like jobs, and they're also, some of them are within the music industry already, like
right.
working for clothing lines that work for clothing or record labels. And I just like, they have that, and then they're musicians. I have my job, which also plays into photography and video, and then my photography and video. I'm not a musician. I would like to be, but I'm just not. I don't know how to play a fucking instrument. I play piano a little bit, but it was just like, this was for fun. And when I went to the last practice, they were like, yeah, dude, we did all this crazy studying for like 6 hours, how to put out music in 2020. We need to shoot videos and photos, and we need to be playing shows, and we need to get a practice space. So we're going to rent that out for like 6 hours at a time. And we need to like practice once or twice a week. And I'm just like, oh my God. They didn't mean to do that, but that was a natural progression of something that is actually good.
Yeah.
Like, we enjoyed the music. Other people that we showed enjoyed the music. And so obviously you don't want to just be like, yeah, it's just a hobby. It grows into, especially for musicians, grows into something good. And then they just brought up, and they weren't putting pressure on me. I had brought up, I'm a photographer, I'm a videographer. I would shoot a video for fun. You know, I would just have you guys for like parts of me just fucking shake the camera in my face. That's really all you need to do. And so they were like, yeah. And then with social media, we need to post a bunch. So it's like, we need photos and videos. And you were mentioning you could do it. And I was like, I can't even do my own fucking work. And they're like, and you're good at social media. And I was like, you think I'm good at social media because you see the posts, but
You're like, I don't even run my podcast social media.
you know, I was like, I can't even post my own fucking photography stuff. Like,
Yeah.
So anyway, the point is that I sent them, I sent them a text,
Farewell text.
and I was just like, I explained, you know, spreading myself too thin, can't even get my shit straight. I keep canceling practices on you guys. And all 4 of them replied with like big ass messages saying like, no, dude, it's really fucking cool of you to, you know, come forward and say that. And it's appreciated, and you helping us bring this project to life, and that you're a really cool dude. And we knew from the start when you came over that it was going to hit off, and it really fucking did. Like, practices were sick. The music is sick. They sent me a fucking song, which I'll show you later, one of the newest ones they wrote, and I was like, motherfucker, like, it's so, it was so good.
If only you could just like record here and then send them your
Well, that was an idea too.
audio.
But they still need the main point when I said at the end of the message to them was, you guys deserve a vocalist who is going to give as much as you're giving.
Yeah, 100%.
You're practicing 2 or 3 days a week, 2 or 3 hours at a time. I would show up for an hour and a half and have to bounce one day, if even that. So I was like, yeah, you need somebody that can actually do the things you need.
Definitely.
So whatever, you know. It just, what sucked, and this was a really hard thing to swallow, and that's why it took me a minute to really think about what I wanted to do, was I wanted that so fucking badly for 10 years.
Oh, I know.
So badly, and I finally got it, and I didn't have the time to do it because I fell in love with like another craft.
Yeah.
2 years ago, oh boy.
Oh, I know.
Fucking nothing else would have stopped me. Nothing. If I worked even if I just worked for Alan and then did the band only,
You would totally be able to kill
yeah,
it.
of course, but I don't. So that pretty much starts us off there. No, but I was just saying, like, it can bleed into different conversations about just like time management and all this. Like, how I came to that decision was I went on a drive by myself for like 2 hours, and I found myself out on Avenue D and like 60th, just in the middle of fucking nowhere, and just talking into my phone, into my notes about all the different things I need to do, how to get my life straight, how to like stop planning things. I wasn't just planning things back to back. I started accidentally layering plans.
Yeah.
Where I would check my schedule and it was like, oh, you have 3 things to do today, all at 2:00. What do you mean? What do you? And you have to cancel on 2 of those things, and they're all important. So what do you do? And it was just a lack of, it was constantly juggling way too much and accepting too much and saying like, yeah, I can do that on this day, and not having it written in my schedule. So I just started, I told myself, like, with texts with people, if I open it, respond as fast as I can. If I'm driving, do not even open it to see what it is. So that way I see the notification.
Yeah, I keep a lot of messages undelivered purely for the reminder to respond when I like properly can respond.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good way of doing it because I thought about that and it's been working really well.
Yeah, I can't like believe me, I have no problem leaving people on red. It's just I forget about it completely because if the little blue bubble next to it isn't there, then it bleeds in with the rest of the other messages that I sent the last text to.
Yeah.
Or that have completely died off and I don't need to keep talking to.
Yeah.
And so I'll keep people undelivered and then I'll like get caught up in my day and then every now and then someone will be like, "Hey, like I like fucking text me back. Like you liked my picture on Instagram. Like I know you're fucking there." And I'm like, "Shit, my bad."
Yeah. It's not so much I don't want to get back to this as it is what we just explained, that in this time right now I can't, and I accidentally read it and I'm going to forget it later, no matter what I do, because I tell people this and it's what happens because I talk to a lot of people throughout my day, way more than I should, just due to the fact that it's like, I shouldn't be spreading myself that thin, but it's been working better now. But I'll get a text, and if I read it and want to come back to it 2 hours later, it has been pushed down the text message list. And, like 6 or 7 other people have texted me, group text, all the different shit. It has pushed it down, and now I don't see it when I open it right away. And other times, you just blindly, you're answering like one person and you forget to answer all the other people. So
Yeah. I've had times where like it's so odd how your phone, just the way that it's compositionally set up, how it functions, can truly affect your day-to-day operations. And my example of that is like
social media.
well, even just as much as how the notifications are laid out and how like the messages are set up. There have been times where like I've totally like not even noticed that I haven't like gotten back to Danny on a text, and it'll be because like I'll be with somebody and we'll be talking about a thing and I'll be like, "Oh sure, like let me pull this up for you." And then so like I just whip my phone up and like just unlock it and start showing them this thing and do not read what notifications I have because I'm like doing something at the moment. And so then I totally don't see that I have a notification, or even worse, I open my phone and it's on the messages and then I get out of the message and go do it. And so now it's opened and now I don't even have the notification for it. And then she'll text me back and she'll be like, "The fuck, dude? Like, what are you doing?" And I'll be like, "Honestly, I did not even see that you texted me."
Yeah.
Like, and she'll be like, "How do you not see it?" And I'll be like, if I don't see it when I open my phone and it's gone or it's with other notifications, and it's like totally not in my head unless I like go, haven't talked to Danny in a minute. Where's that at?
I try to create habits. It's the same thing. Making my bed, right? Has now become a consistent part of my day. If I don't do it, I feel like weird about it. And one of the big ones, I know it's a weird one, but closing the shower curtain when you get out, like closing it back, because if it's all wrinkled up, it grows mold faster.
Interesting.
Yeah, because all the water stays condensed in there.
Makes sense.
So what I try to do with text messages now is if I reply to something, I swipe out of it immediately.
Yeah.
So that way when I open a text, it doesn't open to that one specific person. And
I noticed that too. And I also have noticed that, you know how you can like do that, like almost like deep click on something where you like press harder. If you do that, you can deep click on the message app itself and it can send you directly to the messages of a certain person that you've recently been to, or to a new message if you want to create a new one.
I like that.
So if you're like, fuck, I know it's going to, if I click on the message app, I know it's going to open this person's message and I don't want to open it yet, you can hard click it and then.
Wonder if you close it, it will do the same.
No.
It's like
I've tried it. No,
it's every time.
It's even if you like close out the app completely, if you click on it, it'll be like, "Hey, I remember where you were." Thanks, iMessage.
Nothing else does this but me. Yeah, I don't know. Like trying to create different habits now of getting better. Like one of the ones that I did, I was grabbing my phone to go to the next point, but this is still full of life. And I did it before and it actually helped a lot. And so I preach it, but I haven't had a calendar in my room since then, was having a calendar that you see every day in front of you. So when you wake up, it's right there.
Yeah, I put one in my room now,
Yeah.
and I actually like cross off the days. And I've been consistent with it, and it helps a lot.
I haven't had one in probably close to a year, and I remember it helping, and I just keep forgetting to get one because I need to go buy a new one. But
Damn, it's really been that fucking long. Holy shit! I was
Since
gonna say you had one in the last place, right? Like you had it on your
yeah,
wall.
but you know what was written on it? March. So almost a year. I remember like looking at it and going, God, I need to change that in like July. I was like, fuck, it's December. Oh shit, now it's just in the garage thrown somewhere. I don't fucking know where it is. But yeah, it's one of those things that I almost said an idea that I had, something that I want to create, but I'm not going to mention that on here because if it gets created, I'll kill somebody. So it's one of those things that I think actually helps when it's consistently in front of your face. Wake up, walk in your room, because you spend, most people spend a lot of time in their room, at least 8 hours, or not at least, fucking whatever.
I wish.
Yeah, right. But, a good amount of time in there. Whether you need to go grab clothes or whatever, you see it for a split second, and it's a reminder right there in your fucking face. You don't have to open your phone. It's just constantly there, and then you start remembering. Like, you'll memorize your calendar.
As long as it doesn't bleed into the background of the room. I think the
Does
best way
yours?
to eventually everything does. Like,
yeah.
Like you put something up on your wall, and then it just becomes a part of the room itself rather than a thing in your room.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to probably avoid that would be like move it every like couple months to a different location on the wall or something.
That or having its own space. Like I have a lot of blank spaces in my room where I don't think it would bleed in, and especially because
I just mean like literally you've seen it so many times you forget about it.
I guess it depends on how much a calendar matters to you. Because like obviously paintings in your room, you don't need to look at those every fucking single day and be like, oh, I know this is here.
Yeah.
But like for a calendar, that is a super important aspect for me. So I get what you're saying, but for me, I was always reminded, like, look at it. You need to look at it. I was constantly updating it. I was constantly near it. Photo shoots getting planned, work, all the
Up
other
until
stuff.
March.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it bleeds it into the room.
No, it was me falling off the wagon. Like me falling off planning things, when I wasn't fucking posting anything.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the last thing that I wrote on my calendar was when I last posted on Instagram. Yeah, somewhere around there. So
yeah, I think it won't bleed into the room as much when you are consistently using it, because then it's no longer a static piece on your wall. It's a
Right.
dynamic piece.
And
It's
that's what I
constantly
mean.
changing.
yeah, and so just constantly changing that up. So I just need to get another one. I don't know why I haven't. It actually, like I said, helps a ton. Photos have been fucking going off, dude. I'm so excited to post again. Having one account and just knowing like this is where you need to post your work. Not another, not posting all your favorite stuff on this account and then only photos here and dropping a photo and then getting the fuck out. It's like, why was I doing that? Like there's no interaction at all.
Yeah.
Versus this one, like I don't want to be the person that keeps talking about one thing, but this fucking Star Wars photo I can't get over. It's my own photo is my own background, and it just because I like it that much.
Oh, fuck yeah. I've done that before.
Yeah, it's not a cocky thing. It's
No.
just like dude, I really like what I did here.
Yeah, you didn't create the moment, you just captured it. And so
Exactly.
you shouldn't feel guilty for enjoying it.
Even if it was created, I still think like if you're really stoked on something,
Yeah,
just fucking
exactly.
have it there.
Yeah,
Like if we were oddly obsessed with this podcast, having it as our background, like a microphone. You're gonna be my background. You're just right here. Yeah, just being able to interact with people, because on that other account, I would log in and be like, this is a no man's land. I don't know.
Which the Nicholas rule?
Yeah, which now the name is officially, I got it back on the Nick rules, now Nicholas rules. So it's one account.
Very nice.
But-
yeah. I remember you would text me every now and then when we first did first was starting the podcast. You're like, you tagged my you tagged my photography account. Can you tag my real one? I'm like, oh yeah, sorry. I totally confuse Nicholas rule with this guy I know, Nick rule.
And that was another thing, like as simple and stupid as that was, that's a problem. Especially if it's like, dude, I would be sharing my photography work on my personal account, but like sharing it on my stories, like this is what I fucking did today.
Mm-hmm.
But then going over to my photography account to post the photo.
Yeah.
Why?
Pointless.
Why?
And the thing is too, like with your photography account, you don't expose it to anybody who doesn't already want to see it. And so like, for instance, there could be somebody who didn't like the last 2 shoots, but then the 3rd shoot was like, oh, I like this. And then the 4th one, it's like, dang, this is growing on me. And had they just seen the first 2 shoots, they never would have followed your photography account in the first place. So you're not really exposing anybody in the market to your work. You're just going like, this is my account where all the people I already know who support me will then continue to support me.
Exactly. With that Star Wars photo, I don't give a fuck about the likes. And I don't care about like the compliments, but I care about the interactions. Like I love when people are just like, yo, this fucking photo is sick. And I get to talk to them.
Yeah.
Same thing as like this podcast. I just like talking to people. This is a really cool outlet for you and me when we see random people and they're just like, which hasn't happened in a minute, but no, it happened at the work Christmas party where the guy's like, oh, you're the other half of the podcast. And I'm like, yes, sir. And it just starts a conversation.
Dude, you know how trippy it is to walk through like the aisles of a warehouse and then hear you talking in the distance, and I mean like myself, hear your own voice kind of like muffled in the distance.
Playing it on speakers?
Yeah, because
no shit.
The coworker James, he'll play it on a speaker when he pulls.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so I'll be in aisle like D, and he'll be in aisle A, and I just hear like a muffled like, and I'm like, God, that's such a fucking trip.
And it's cool because like as you're walking past, he's like, yeah, this fucking point is exactly how I think. Like whatever stupid.
As I walked past, he's like, dude, this guy's fucking retarded. I'm like, what guy's like some dude named Caleb on this podcast? I was like, hey, we've had 2 guests. Be specific. And he's like, Tub.
Cool. That's me.
I was like, all right, bro.
But we've had 2. No, the 3rd one. Who? You.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It gives like an outlet to talk to people. And like that one specific photo, had it been posted on my photography account, it would have just been a bunch of people that maybe I didn't really want to respond to just because I not really didn't want to respond to as much as it was. I'm about to start tripping over my words, so I'm just going to stop on that point. Posting it on my account where I regularly go and have my regular friends and then new people that come in that actually want to participate in the things that I do, that's where I want to post. Not in no man's land where it's a bunch of people that are just like random comments on shit. But I think that I had like no bullshit, like 20 people hit me up. They're like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, cool, I want to talk about it. Like I want to talk to you about it. And then that will open up the whole conversation of just like, I don't know. What's up, dude? How you doing? So, enough on that fucking shit.
No, it's the same thing with this. Like, it's cool to just use it as an excuse to catch up with people.
Yeah.
Like, when we have Danny Beck coming up, like I haven't sat down and talked to her in so fucking long. So like, I'm looking forward to that because like we get to catch up.
I can't wait. Well, I'm not gonna eat my words now. I just think she's a quiet person, and I hope that when like she's on, that it's just this fucking oh shit, that's who you are.
No, yeah, she's definitely more interactive than quiet.
I would imagine so.
It's just the environment she finds herself in.
Yeah, and the only times it's been like 3 at a party, and it's like hi bye.
Yeah. Parties aren't usually the best like time to catch up and really get into long conversation unless you want to neglect the party, which you're there for.
Right.
I funny enough, like in high school, I used to like I had a section of time where I would hang out with her and like her group of friends like all the fucking time. And like it would either be me or me and Joel, and she lived like way out she used to live like by Lake Elizabeth. And so we'd drive like 25 minutes out there just to like go fucking hang out and do stupid shit and like run around in the fucking wilderness out there. And like we had like some solid ass memories going back. So it's cool. And to see like what she's done since then and what she's getting into, it's cool.
She's into dancing, right?
Yeah. She's big into dance.
I know dancing's a big one for her. Past that, I think it's just dancing, right?
Dance is her main thing. I cannot remember if she's going to school or not, but past that, it's a lot of personal interests, which you never fucking know what anybody's into.
Her dry, dead humor on Twitter, solid. Always a fan of it. really confused as to why she has that pink icon as her.
Dude, she's fucking hilarious on social media.
Yeah.
But yeah, we go through these like ebbs and flows where we're like, and it's so pathetic because honestly, it takes us like a fucking smidget of effort and we'd be better at it.
Yeah.
But we go through these ebbs and flows where we're like, oh fuck, we need a guest tomorrow. And then other times we're like, we have the entire month of March totally planned. Like,
Yeah.
And in reality, like a nice even medium would be best for us.
I mean, let alone, not only that, but like, let alone planning, period. Like days.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, dude, it's Friday. And this is the only time that I can actually do this.
But this week, to be fair to us, like was fucking packed. If we were a week ahead, we'd have more flexibility.
I think we actually, this week would have been a little bit better had our schedules lined up a little bit better with the guests because we had two.
Yes, that's the thing.
We had two in mind.
I was thinking that to yesterday, where I was like, not to like grant us too much credit, but we also have to like align 3 different people's schedules to sit down and just talk to give cushion 2.5 hours.
Right.
And that's a good chunk of time, especially when you're trying to plan it around like, okay, I can do Wednesday. Can you do Wednesday? I can do Wednesday. What about you, third person? Nope. Fuck.
Yeah.
Wednesday scratch. What about like Thursday? Nope, I can't do that. Okay. Friday? Oh, I can't do that either. Like, and so.
And it would be better if like we were to plan it a week out because we were planning it 3 days out with these people. So, or 2 weeks out. I mean, fucking beginning of us getting video. So what, episode 50? We were fucking like 3 or 4 ahead. We went 3 weeks without doing this shit.
Yeah, and that was because we took Christmas vacation off.
Yeah, and,
we were
and
like,
so all we have to do
it's
is
the holidays. We don't have to do shit.
we just have to think Christmas is on the 3rd week of every month. So we just have to play it that way. I mean, obviously we'll get better at it, especially now that I am putting things how I wrote down in my notes during that drive. I realize I need to prioritize different things in different ways. And for example, not to be so vague, this isn't a top priority for me right away. It is like a priority, don't get me wrong, but when it comes down,
you have life and work.
right, and like work is the most important right now.
Well,
like
of
making
course.
money is,
Duh.
and this, although it is great, is still out of our pockets.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, not that we spend money every time we turn this on. I'm just making the point clear for people listening. I don't fucking need to. They get it. 61 episodes.
The people who listen to the ones of just us are the most consistent, loyal listeners that we have.
Yeah.
And so they're probably hearing us going like, yeah, we
get
know
it.
you guys better than you know you
Shut
guys.
up, you fucking pussy. So, ow, dude, my knee. That's one of the points we're going to get into. I need to make money so I can start taking care of my medical parts, like paying bills and shit. Because, fuck. Anyway, the point that I'm getting at is I started prioritizing differently, and one of the things that I'm going to start pushing harder on, like I said earlier, was the photography aspect. And one of the things that Gary Vaynerchuk, for anybody that needs inspiration on creative outlets,
Good old Gary V.
You need inspiration to get off your fucking ass, to just even go to the gym, go shopping. It doesn't fucking matter. Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, whatever you want to call him, that guy will push you in certain ways that you didn't even know you could be pushed, because he'll make you feel like a lazy piece of shit. And he's not some workout guru. He's just an entrepreneur.
Speaker, yeah.
Like, one of his biggest goals is to buy the jets. And he will, I guarantee, do that by the end of his life.
That's interesting.
Yeah. With how much money he fucking makes, he'll
Well,
definitely
yeah,
buy the
that,
jets.
especially how shitty they are right now. I'm sure they aren't selling for very much.
He's, I will one day know someone who owns a football team off the top of my head, and that will be Gary V. I can't name anybody right now. I can't even name who owns the Chiefs, and I just saw his name on that fucking Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Bunch
I don't
of
either.
old white guys, I bet.
Of course.
Yeah.
In suits
They
that
own
have
the world.
and have no fucking idea what football even is. Oh, we did what? So he
we made
said,
me more money.
he made a really good point, and this, I hope one day somebody hears this and goes, "That's fucking cool." Quote Gary V, not me. He said, if you have a business that you were trying to pursue where you can provide something rather than hitting up people asking them do they need photo work. You hit up everyone in your contacts and ask, do you know anyone who needs whatever work you do?
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, you do haircuts. Do you know anyone that is looking for a barber, like a permanent barber? Do you know anyone that needs their grass mowed? Do you know anyone that needs photo or video work?
Mm-hmm.
Not do you, because typically people are going to answer no, because obviously that costs money. But if you ask people, they are like, if they know anyone, they will go, oh yeah, I can definitely push your business over to this person.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much easier.
Yeah, and then that doesn't limit you to just the people you talk to, but
Right.
it's like a retweet.
Yeah, exactly. Except retweets go very unnoticed, where this is very direct.
Yeah, of course. Word of mouth.
And so that's one of the things I plan on doing. It's just a matter of like getting more posts in and having more of a structure for myself.
And having like a seemingly recent, consistent, active portfolio to just be like, here's my Instagram.
Yeah.
If you like what you see, then
Yeah.
people know.
The only part that sucks about the restarting of an Instagram is, for some reason, that's super important to people. But if they were to just click that nicholasrule.com link, you'll see all my fucking work on a beautiful site that I pay yearly for.
Have you updated it? Very nice.
Yeah. I mean, as of like the past 3 months, no. But everything before that, like every wedding I've ever done, yeah. So I think once getting structure on that starts, it just feels healthier. I feel healthier. I don't feel like I'm losing my fucking mind anymore.
Mm-hmm. And on top of that, cutting off another project that you were not only spending time on, but spending mental energy stressing over.
Yeah. Thinking
good.
about lyrics and songs.
Yeah.
And, oh shit, I didn't reply to them in 3 days.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just not fair to people.
Yeah. I was listening to, have I explained to you what the app Blinkist is?
Mm-mm.
The app Blinkist is a app for nonfiction books. And basically you can either read the book on your phone or listen to the book. But the catch is it's not the actual book. It's a condensed version that the company does. So they basically like have teams of people who go through the books and get the key points and write them down and have like almost like a book review or an essay that you can read, or an audio version where they hire a narrator, and the narrators are all fucking fantastic. Like I've gone on YouTube and listened to some audiobooks and stuff like that, and some narrators really make or break it, but every single one that they've gotten is amazing.
Nice.
But they will knock a book out and hit all the main key points and elaborate on them in 15 minutes. And it's a paid for service, but they have one free one a day, and that's what I do.
That's what, yeah, okay, I do remember. Once you said the one free one, my brain went, oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, and so like I'll like check in the morning, be like, oh, what's like the blink of the day, because that's what they call them, are blinks.
Oh, cool.
And the other day it was one on, or fuck, I think maybe I'm remembering wrong. But I was listening to something, whether it was Blinkist or not, just totally elaborated on that. I can't even remember if it was that.
Free advertisement. Hey,
Yeah,
Blinkist.
it's great. It's great. Don't get me wrong. Like I listened to the condensed version of Edward Snowden's book.
Yeah.
And that was fucking amazing.
That's crazy to do that in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Wild.
And it's really crazy because you don't realize how much text you can get out by talking in 15 minutes.
Oh, dude, if
like
you had
it's
to read our...
so many pages. Yeah. Like I remember, you'll notice it when you're driving and you go, oh, I need to text somebody and do a talk to text. And you just kind of speak your mind on this one topic and you look down and it's a fucking book that you just laid out. And you're like, Jesus.
Yep.
And so if I can sit here and say like, I have no idea, like 200 words in a minute, then the amount of words you can lay out in 15 minutes is actually a really elaborate breakdown.
Yeah.
So it's pretty dope. But I was listening to this person talking about checklists and how checklists are one of those things that go completely under people's noses because they're so simple that they seem like, okay, what's the next life hack rather than just like a good thing to do. It's not a life hack. It's not something that's really, it's not something that's really like into it. And so they talked about a study where like they had doctors and surgeons and like lower socioeconomic countries have checklists that they went over before they went into a surgery, and it like significantly lowered mortality rates and
no
infection
shit.
rates just because there were like little mistakes that they
Yeah.
didn't realize they were making that affected how the patient came out. And people were talking about how like they had like morning routines that would take them like an hour that they like condensed into 20 minutes just because they turned it into a checklist.
Yeah.
And you can kind of just have an overall bird's eye view of what you're doing. And that shit definitely like helps people structure their day in a much more
Dude, 100% because that was one of the things that you and I we keep fucking failing on, and we just need to honestly, it just needs to be put in front of us. Like maybe we'll get a
like a checklist to go over before we start.
piece of paper or something that sits in here and laminated or some shit so it doesn't get all ruined. Or just remember to open our goddamn notes. But
Yeah.
one of the things that we keep fucking forgetting to tell people is like, unless it's important, like
Keep the phone in the pocket.
keep the phone in the pocket.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, like, yes, I keep it on the table because we use it for our talks, but I think for like guests, I'll probably start, I mean, I'll fucking put it away now. It doesn't even need to be out, but, or just throw it behind you, so it's not in your pocket. So you don't think about it, but unless it's important, put it away. But we have a checklist, and same thing. I learned this from one of the seminars that I listened to at VidCon, was making a checklist for your vlog setup. If you do it in your room, it's like camera. It's not just camera on.
Lights, action,
Yeah.
go.
Well, that's
Check.
exactly it. It's not just that.
Yeah, of
and
course
you need
not.
to stop thinking that way.
Yeah.
Because you got to plug the mic into the camera, make sure the mic is weighted
Oh
down
my God,
on
can
its
you
fucking.
imagine
just
not plugging the mic in?
well, one of the main things that a lot of vloggers ran into, which is why I'm super grateful for the mic I paid for. It's an expensive fucking on-camera mic, but it has one function that was worth buying over every other mic. It's double the price of their predecessor, right? The predecessor,
Previous
previous
model,
mic.
yeah.
Whatever.
No, predecessor is the correct word. Yeah.
Okay, so the previous model, but it is when you turn on the camera, the mic turns on. When you turn off the camera, the mic turns off. Purely runs off of the signal of the camera. Every other microphone has an on-off switch that you have to flip.
Sketch.
And so the mic also runs off of a 9-volt battery. Those are the brick ones, right? Yeah, 9-volt. So everybody's batteries would be dead, and they'd be out in the middle of nowhere with a dead mic. So, and not every single time. I mean, it happens here and there, but that alone is something that you wouldn't even think you'd have to think about.
Yeah. Did I bring my microphone batteries?
Right. Or is it, was it on the whole time? Fucking Manny and Brandon have talked about time and time again how many different locations they've been at where their mic was off because they forgot to turn it on. Because you don't think about it. It's just, you got to go. You got to start filming now. You got to get the idea out. And so at that VidCon seminar, he was like, make a checklist. And so I did. It's like, set the focal length to 50 millimeters. Make sure the light is pointing this way. Do all these different things. And once you are done, you're ready. Versus if you missed one thing, it changes the entire video.
Yeah, you might have to like trash an entire take.
And so like checklists, they just keep your brain runs. What do you have? 1,000 dreams a night?
Oh God, I don't know.
I think it's something like that. You just can't remember them. I genuinely think it's like 1,000 dreams in a regular 8-hour sleep. You just don't. I can look it up really quick.
Yeah, go for it. It sounds like one of those like cool facts thing, and then
Yeah.
you look it up and it's like, oh, you have 8.
Do you have each night? Let's see. Oh, an average person has 3 to 5 dreams per night.
Yeah,
and some
I
may have up
figured it
to
was
7.
something like that.
However, most dreams are immediately and quickly forgotten. Dreams tend to last longer, and night progresses during an 8-hour. What's the 1,000 that I heard about then?
I don't know. Because like you only dream in REM sleep, right? And
I think so.
You go through cycles of REM sleep, and you have like 3 to 5 cycles of REM sleep throughout your sleep if you get a full night's rest. So that would typically be when you dream.
I thought I could be like, why do you forget dreams? 95%, blah, blah, blah. Nobody gives a fuck. I just want to know how many dreams. Maybe it was like thoughts or something in your day to day. I heard something along the lines of like,
1,000 things run through your head at certain points.
I really want to figure this shit out. Per minute, per hour, per. Oh. Okay, sorry. It wasn't dreams.
You're like, sorry, it's the speed of a rocket going around the moon. I totally.
We have 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. That's where I heard the 1,000 number. And that's fucking way off from what I thought it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got your enjoy your fucking 5 dreams, but you have 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day. And you want to remember to do 8 things before you start recording? There's no fucking way. You want to pick the 8 out of that?
Yeah, I remember now. It was a YouTuber named Matt Diavella. That's who I was watching. Very, very awesome channel. Definitely recommend it. And he was talking to somebody about checklists and how much they like are undervalued. And the guy he was talking to was basically also hitting the point of just like, it takes away the mental stress of having to try to remember and feeling like you're forgetting something. That like you clear out your mind and you're able to focus on the task at hand because you're not even worrying about if you're even ready for the task at hand. You look at your checklist, it's all checked off. You're good and you have the confidence and the like clear state of mind to just execute.
Yeah. It's a really stupid thing, right? But for example, in my checklist, like buy magnesium pills, like because I forgot what the magnesium was for. I even forgot what the fuck it was for. So it will remind me to re-look up why I needed to get them.
And then you can add on your notes for
buy garage door opener, wash the cloths from the car, wash car. Like it's just stupid shit like that because you forget. And so what I started doing, and it has relaxed me to a point where when we started this, the mics weren't even there in the beginning versus like me overthinking it from the start and then slowly letting them fade. I didn't think about like, oh shit, what do I have to talk about? It was just like, relax. You got everything you fucking need written down. You did everything you needed to do today, which was nothing because you woke up with a fucking migraine. So, but it was just like when I have a thought, if it's something of sustenance. If it has sustenance.
something of substance.
Is it sustenance? Okay, whatever. If it's something of substance that isn't just a stupid thought, like, oh, I need to do this today. Write it down in your notes. I need to text this person. Text them right there. Just do it.
Yeah.
And if you are driving, I have pulled over recently to just get it done.
It's one of those things where it's execute it now or never.
And that's pretty much what has kept me in the last week with my head screwed on. I mean, there were times where I wasn't replying to people for like 3 or 4 days at a time. And now it's like, done.
Yeah, I remember you texted me. I don't even remember what I sent you. I sent you something. And then you text me back like the next day and you're like, sorry, I've been trying to get better about this.
Yeah. Ending
Here's
in an
my
H.
genuine reaction.
Yeah. Alex, I hung out with her, I think, I don't know, in the past like 2 or 3 days. And we were just like shooting the shit. And then I brought up like talking to her about all this because she was one of the people that I had mentioned, like my fucking head feels like it's not screwed on. She was like, yeah, dude, you were replying like within seconds of me sending a text. And I was like, yeah, that's because I'm trying to do that. Like I'm making a conscious effort. If I'm driving, I'm just like, hey Siri, send, and just like, you know, so
that's how I when I was doing it, when it wasn't A, freezing cold, and I wasn't B, dead inside. When I was going on my morning runs, that was the only way I was able to sustain that routine. Was as soon as I wake up, I go, okay, I need to go on a run, and before I finish the sentence, I was on my feet.
Yeah,
because if I didn't, in that next 30 seconds, it would have died.
The other 45 thoughts you had right then and there that were just like, lay down, would win. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
really smart.
It's like you have to ride the smallest gust of breeze for momentum, and then it will turn into whatever you need it to. But you have to, as soon as your brain goes, you should probably do this, do it.
Yeah.
And then go back to what you were doing 5 minutes later. I promise it'll be just like it was before.
That's what I've been trying to do is like rather than waking up and just laying there and reading on your phone, why not go make breakfast and read and sit down while you're eating your breakfast and read all the shit you want to catch up on?
Yeah, I fantasize about days like where I get enough sleep to where I can like get a morning routine and like that. But as of right now, no.
And I'm very fortunate to have the schedule and all the things that I do. that allow me to do that. But like this morning, dude, I told myself like I wanted to do so much today, and I literally rolled over and I was like, ow, what the fuck? Like it felt, no bullshit, like someone slammed a baseball bat in the back of my head. And I was like, I can't fucking move. I tried to go back to sleep for an hour, couldn't move after that. Woke up, made breakfast, took me almost an hour to make breakfast because I was just moving that slow. It's just one of those days. So I was like, this shit's wasted. It's still happening now. I'm just powering through it because I was like, I have done nothing but lay in bed. Just a random fucking headache. One of the things that I was going to bring up just because it was like a random thought, I went to the gym. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. And I worked out my legs, dude. I got home, like I was trying to push my gas pedal and my fucking foot was just shaking. I was like, you're so fucking weak, dude. Your leg strength is not even there at all.
I love that. I love it because it feels like a job well done.
Yeah. Or, oh no, I'm going to be injured in like 2 days.
Dude, I went to the gym with Dalton and we did all upper body, like everything above your waist was subject to fucking hell.
But Dalton's been going to the gym.
He recently, Gold's Gym had some of their very high value programs leaked online and the routines. And so he wanted to try it.
Oh, nice.
And so that was the day I decided I was going to go to the fucking gym with him.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so
You felt great.
We did abs, back, chest, shoulders, arms, everything. I was sore for 5 days straight. I was like, oh, I ripped my tits.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking you were gonna do.
It was rough, but
because you hadn't
there is
gone to
no
the
but. That shit sucked.
you hadn't gone to the gym in quite a minute.
Yeah, no. Besides what like regular exercise I get from like my job or any like extracurricular random shit I do. No,
I realize that even that like job stuff doesn't do it. Like it doesn't put you in as much shape as you would hope. It's like, oh, I took so many steps today. But if you hop on and do something that's a leg workout, it's just you're used to that routine. You're not actually.
It also depends on whether or not you're like mindfully using that thing you're doing at your job as a part of your workout routine. Like if you were thinking, okay, if I take this many steps a day, this will act as this cardio and I'll have like this many calories I need to burn left and blah, blah, blah. Then hell yeah, you're using it to your advantage. But if you're still a piece of shit when you roll up to McDonald's and then go at home and do fucking nothing and be a sedentary potato, then your steps aren't going to do anything.
That kind of brings me to a point with you walking around and whatnot. The shoes that you have for work, how old are those?
Very old.
You should probably get new ones. Old?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I should get new ones old. Our job offers a discount on boots. And so
like actual like nice boots?
Yeah. So looking at it, I'm going to get a pair of Docs for like $40.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How big is that discount?
Docs are like $150.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I don't.
So the site you get them from has a discount. It's like knocked like $20 off, and then the discount from work is like $90.
Wow. And they're actually like they're meant for walking.
They're steel toe like Doc Martens. They're like
I know,
nice.
but I just because I've had steel toe boots for jobs before, and they were not comfortable to walk in at all.
Yeah, and Scott at work was like, just throw a gel insole in there, and you'll be solid.
See, that's the only thing. Like, I guess that would work. I feel like if you're gonna buy a shoe that's like specifically made for walking around, buy that shoe.
Well, yeah, I've already told myself that I'm going to also buy a pair of like running shoes / walking shoes because I'm not going to want to wear Doc Martens 4 days a week.
Okay, as long as that's
I'd
not
fucking
just the
kill
only
myself.
thing. Yeah.
No, I'm definitely going to buy some nice cushy shoes.
Okay.
But I still need like boots regardless. And James, you met him. He's the one who's like, oh, you did the podcast. Yeah.
I love that you had to say it like that.
Yeah, that's James, dude. He has this, he has this archetype to him.
I hope you hear this as you're walking through the aisles and him being like, hey, Tom, fuck you.
Honestly. But he has these fucking like just these regular ass like black or brown boots that he just like kicks the shit out of some stuff with, because if we're putting shit on a pallet and it's heavy, you're not going to pick it up and move it. You're going to just kick that shit into place. And he's kicking the fuck out of it. And I always call it his Antifa boots.
Oh no.
He looks like he's going to go to a fucking riot and like kick some Republican's head in.
That's fucking stupid.
And I was like, oh, we brought the Antifas today, huh? And he's like, yeah, boom.
Wish this was somebody's skull.
Yeah. I was like, are you curb stomping on the weekend?
So wait, do you still have, because it just reminded me, are the shoes that you wear for work the ones that I ended up giving you?
No, those are a pair of shoes. I still have those. I wear those every now and then. But the ones that I'm wearing, I've had since before that.
Oh my God. Yeah, you need new shoes.
Yeah.
I remember the shoes that you ended up buying off of me. I was really confused as to why you bought them off of me and your feet didn't hurt. But when I wore them, it genuinely felt like someone
Was a day
beaten the fucking shit out of my feet.
There was a day that I had some pain after I wore them, and I think that's why I don't wear them every day, is because I'm like, were these the shoes? Did Nick implant these thoughts in my head? or
No,
what?
dude, there's something, because it has
They're almost at like an angle. The foam in them is kind of weird.
And the foam is what fucked me up. My whole foot, I remember I wore them for like 3 days straight. I remember after the first day, I was like, that doesn't feel normal. The second day, I was like, okay, maybe it's just like breaking in shoes. The third day, I was like, I'm never wearing these again, because I couldn't stand. Like I got out of bed and I fell, like legitimately fell, because it felt like someone the entire night was just, and I don't mean like hitting my feet. I mean pummeling them with the fury of whatever the fuck they have. It was painful shit, and I was really confused.
It hurt my feet. That's all I'm trying to say.
I remember I was using the forklift, heightening it and hiring, sorry. And I was telling Sean, I was like, I got to get the fuck out of this thing. He's like, why? I was like, I can't stand. I was pushing my knees into the wall and floating.
That's what I do when I try the
Because your
forklift.
fucking feet hurt from walking all
I'm like,
day, dude.
stand-up forklift? My ass.
Yeah, just
watch this wall sit.
You're just kicking your fucking feet as you're just drifting this thing around. I miss using a forklift. I actually, and I know this sounds weird, and a lot of people.
Hey, boss, why can't we use forklifts on our wedding shoots?
I actually do miss, and if I could do it 2 days a week, if that place would hire, like, I miss warehouse work. I know it's weird. I know. But when you don't, I'm really good at it and I really enjoy it.
It's a nice, when there's a solid workload and no interruptions and no nagging, it's a really nice sense of accomplishment to have like a job well done that was physical.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. And
so I suggest to you, start a garden or something. Do not go back to the warehouse.
no, I would genuinely, if they were like, yeah, we can do like a 1 or 2 day a week thing, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. I would do it in a heartbeat, just because I like that team mentality mixed in with the physical work and something getting accomplished.
Yeah, some camaraderie and sweat.
Exactly. I mean, everywhere, but I've had jobs where this is the only job you've had where you've worked full time. So if you've had other jobs where you've worked full time, you would understand. I think you would enjoy the warehouse way more. You'd have some sense of like, even though, yeah, it has worn on you over the past year and a half now.
Year and 3 months.
Okay. Even though like it's worn on you, you would still have this sense of like, yeah, but I could be wiping down tanning beds in the middle of fucking summer and all these people sweat.
Yeah, no, I know there's worse.
No, I know. I'm not saying it as like you should be grateful for what you have. I'm just saying like you would probably understand.
Have perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. One thing that I have been doing at work a lot lately and listening to, and I touched on it a little bit with you, but I've been learning a lot about like financial.
Been learning a lot of Spanish.
No, I need to learn more of that. I've been learning a lot about like financial literacy and the entire idea of like passive income and having your money make money and all that shit.
Yeah.
And I remember I tried getting into that kind of stuff and learning about it years ago, but there's so much jargon and vocab to it that you kind of have to learn in order to even make it make sense, that it kind of worked as like a barrier of entry for me, where I was just like, maybe if I understood what words 7, 12, and 21 were in this sentence, I would understand what the fucking
That's
sentence
really
means.
a barrier of entrance or of entry. I
Yeah,
like that, because I'll listen to something and go, I don't fucking. Am I supposed to know these words?
Yeah,
So it makes
exactly.
you want to quit. Okay.
Yeah, because
I
you're
like
like,
that.
I not only have to learn the words, but then learn the concept that the words are being applied to.
Which is why when you speak and you use a word, I go, "Hey, stop! What's that?"
And I love that shit. I love fucking
Yeah.
teaching people vocabulary.
Yeah,
But
Just be an English teacher.
yeah, that's the dream. But one thing that I've been learning a lot about is like I've always heard people bitch about the stock market and talk about how it's gambling and talk about how like, oh, I tried it and I lost a lot of money. Like I remember having a professor at COC and she was like trashing the stock market. She was like, that shit is just gambling. I did it. I dabbled in it and like I lost money. Like it's just luck, yada, yada, yada.
I only bought stock in like things that I liked and not things that actually fluctuate differently.
Yeah, and I have been listening to people who are investors in the stock market talk about the stock market, and every one of them is like, if you invest in like single stocks, it's gambling. They were like, we don't do that. We haven't retired in our 30s because we invested in 3 stocks. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
And so I find it fascinating, and so I want to dive into it a little bit.
Okay.
One thing that I've learned right off the bat is that you cannot invest in the stock market and without you having your money spread amongst like hundreds of companies at a time. That is how you like minimize your risk of your money going down in value. If I were to put my money all on Tesla stock, granted the past fucking 3 months have been insane.
I saw you tweeting about it and I looked it up and went, oh,
I actually bought a share at $4.70 and then sold it at $5.50. So I
You
made 80
fucked
bucks.
up.
I made 80 bucks and I was like sick. And then it went to 960
Yep.
in the course of a week.
yep.
Which people were comparing it to Bitcoin. They were like, we've never seen a stock do this.
Oh, I
So
know.
granted, 9 times out of 10, my strategy would have been solid. But apparently Tesla was on steroids that time because it was insane.
Yeah.
But had I invested into Tesla stock when it hit 900,
Yeah.
it went down to 720 the next day.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you would have lost 20% of your investment in 24 hours.
David Dobrik, I believe, invested $1 million or $2 million, but I think it was $1 million when it was for 15, something around there.
Like when it opened?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it opened at $30 a share.
No. He invested when it was at $400 something a share.
Oh.
And then opted out because it dropped
To 200.
$5 or $6. Some crazy,
No.
or no, it was a large amount.
It dropped to the lowest it hit was like 190.
It was crazy. I remember he talks about it on their podcast, but he bought into it at this amount, lost like 200 grand, and then just
He sold?
He sold, and then I think it was like the next day or a week later, it went back up and above what he was at. I'm only thinking if he didn't reinvest, which I don't remember if he did or not. I kept doing the numbers. I took the mill divided by like 420 because that I remember that being one of the numbers, divided by 420 and then multiplied by 970. I was like, oh, these people are easily over 1.5 or 1.6 their investment.
Yeah. And it was something like within the last month, you would have doubled your money.
Yeah.
If you just put
easily.
money into
Yeah.
the stock. And there was this guy talking about how he just like, I have been listening a lot about it, not just about Tesla itself, but about stocks. And so naturally those bled into each other and I was finding YouTube channels on the Tesla stock itself. I was reading comments that people were putting because there are like these almost like little communities of people who are like huge Tesla fans and huge Tesla investors. And like people are talking about how like 80% of their income of their net worth is in Tesla stocks. And granted, the only reason these people aren't freaking the fuck out is because they're long-term holders. They bought it when it was like $200
Yeah.
and they don't plan on selling it for another like 10 years.
Yeah.
So fluctuation is fucking nothing to them.
Right.
But they were talking about their gains within like that 48-hour period when it just skyrocketed. And I saw one comment that like slapped me in the face. And this dude was like, I just made enough money in 48 hours to go buy 2 more Model 3s. And those on average are like 50 grand a car.
Cool.
Yeah. And he's like, I just made that in 2 days. And even the people who are like, don't sell this stock, write it out. We're like, if this shit hits 900, you sell half of what you earned. And as soon as it drops, you buy back in. And this dude was like, I just made 16 grand today because I sold and then it went down to 700 and I bought my position back.
I was actually just going to say that of like that. Okay. I'm glad my mind went there. I was like, I really hope I'm making the right decision. I started building. I was like, if I fucking bought in at like 420 with a mill, sold at 900, and then just bought back in at, I don't know, 7, like, would that be a good idea?
Yes, because basically,
You're making money.
if you say, to make it easy math, you bought in at $450, million bucks, and then it went to 900, so you doubled your money.
Yeah.
Your $1 million is now worth $2 million.
Right.
You sell,
Yeah.
and then it goes down to 750.
Yeah.
And you invest your money back in. You basically made like 500 grand profit.
Yeah.
And now own the same amount of stock that you owned before.
Yeah.
But you
Okay.
just,
So
like,
I'm glad.
cashed in $500,000.
The stock game is fucking scary.
It is, because basically that is what gambling is.
Yeah.
You are trying to figure out whether or not the stock is going to go up today or down today,
Yeah.
and whether or not you're going to buy it or you're going to sell it. And it's stressful. People don't have the stomach for it.
Yeah.
And so that's where people try it, get burned,
Yeah.
and then go back and talk shit.
See, I love my brother to death. I really do. But Patrick went to Vegas and he was just like, Vegas is fucking dumb. Like, every machine I went up to, I just put in money and didn't get anything back. And I remember watching him and telling him, hey, stop putting in $1 on a penny machine, spending the dollar, and then when you lose it, go to the next one. So that's not how this works. I was like, Dad and my stepmom will sit at a machine for 2 hours and they'll start off with $100, and that's how they walk away with 600. You know, they'll win $800, spend another 2, and then cop
Just
out.
say fuck it.
But they don't. That just flew in my mouth. Cool. That's fucking gross. But they don't just do like $1 at a time and go to a different machine. I was like, it's the same thing with stocks. It's gambling. Same
Regardless,
shit.
regardless, the odds are against you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. And so my entire point of bringing that up was just because like that stock is so volatile that you're not going to be able to just confidently invest 10 grand into it and expect that you're going to like not have a total like meltdown whenever you lose $2,000 in a day, which like nobody does regularly.
Right.
And so the way to minimize your risk is you spread it amongst tons of companies. But nobody like can go just drop like $250 on an Apple stock and then drop $700 on a Tesla stock and then drop like $1,000 on an Amazon stock.
Yeah.
You can't do that. So there are these things called index funds, and basically all that is a stock that represents like the entire stock market or represents the top 500 companies. And you buy one of those, and those go up and down way less. They'll go up like 0.5% in a day.
Because there's multiple different ups and downs
Because
happening at the same time.
It's like tracking all of the companies together and then like averaging it out.
Oh yeah, that's fucking crazy. I bet it's like, well, that would suck though.
And so this is the thing. On average, the stock market goes up, or like for instance, the S&P 500 is the top 500 companies. And like the NASDAQ is like the entire stock market. So let's say you invested into the entire stock market. On average, the stock market goes up 6 to 8%.
Is that what the NASDAQ is?
NASDAQ.
Okay, so that's the entire.
That's the entire market.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. I just learned something, and I've seen it every time on the
Dude,
fucking app, and I'm like,
right?
what the fuck is NASDAQ?
Yeah, and if you see something that
Idiot.
says S&P 500, those are the top 500 companies. So like Apple's, Tesla's not even in it yet. Apple's, Amazon, Microsoft.
I
all
had
those.
an old friend. It was my favorite part of just being his friend. That just random parts of the day would be like, stock market's up. That's all he would. That no other context. And then it'd like be a Tuesday, be like, stock market's down. And then that was it. Anyway, go on.
That's funny. But basically, on average, it goes up 6 to 8% a year. So if you threw in $100 into the NASDAQ and waited a year, you'd have like $106.
Yeah.
And so, right. And so people see that and they're like, that's fucking boring. Like that's lame. Like,
Yeah, give it 10 years though.
yeah. But that's the thing. Like you give it 10 years and then your $100 is like $150
Yeah.
or something like that. I think no, it'd be like $200 because I think you double your money every 10 years
Yeah.
if you put it in the stock market. But the thing is, there are these people that have this community online, and this is going out as like advice to anybody who is struggling with money and really wants to kind of just like break the spell and monotony.
Yeah.
There's a community online called the FIRE community, and it stands for Financial Independence Retire Early.
Okay.
And there are these people who like basically go, okay, I'm going to live broke for like 10 years and then retire right after that. And it's crazy hearing these people like talk about how they're taking 50% of their income and they're just throwing it into the S&P 500. Like just as
crazy.
Every paycheck they get, half of it is going in there. And they go from like, oh yeah, like 8% of $1,000 is $80. Like,
Yeah.
woo. And it turns into like, I have, because of the amount of money I've put in, I have hit like 600 grand in the S&P 500 and 8% of that is like $30,000-$40,000 that
Yeah.
I make a year
Yeah.
off of just my money sitting there.
Right. Because they just take out they scrape off the top.
Yeah. And so
That
basically
overflows.
as soon as they want to retire,
Yeah.
they basically figure out, okay, how much do I want to make a year?
Right.
Ideally. And then you find out what that is, like at what 8%.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, that's what I have to have in the market. And I'll be able to scrape off that. Like I'll be able to
so
scrape
crazy.
off 6%
It's scraping
every
off the
year.
foam. Okay, that makes sense.
And then live off that.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, like, the market on average goes up 6 to 8% a year. But recently, in the past like 5 years, it's been doing very well. And to give an example, if I pull up, because I remember looking at it, I was talking to my brother Josh about it the other day, and I was like, I'm telling him like average of 6 to 8%. Think like 6%. And if you can hit $1 million in the stock market, which is easier to do if you're hitting this like crazy investing when the compound interest hits. But if you can hit $1 million, that's 60 grand a year that you're making doing nothing, just sleeping.
That's pretty wild.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And so when you hear about people like hitting the lottery and they make like $40 million and then they just lose it all,
Yeah.
it blows my mind because if they knew to just put their money in
Yeah.
the stock market as a whole, they would make like fucking $5 million or whatever. Like no,
That's so fucking crazy.
They'd make they'd make almost like $1 million
Yeah.
a year, like just crazy shit. And then they'd never lose their original 40, 50 mil that they had.
Yeah. Because it's just it's theirs and they're just making money off their money.
Yeah. And so for instance, in the last year, remember, average is 6 to 8%. Last year, the S&P 500 has been up 22%.
People are scraping like their 40 grand is now 120 grand.
Mm-hmm.
That's so
no,
crazy.
No. 22%. So if you put in $100,000, it'd be $122,000.
No, but what I'm saying is like when we were using the example,
Oh,
it's almost 3 times the amount what they're normally scraping off.
Yes. So let's say you had that $1 million invested and you were expecting to make 60 grand this year, but the stock market was good. So you made 180,000.
Yeah.
Right.
See, what doesn't make sense to me and why I've been such I talk about, I guess it does make sense because now I'm getting to the age where it's like stocks are something you should really consider. My brother Chris always preaches this to me and Patrick, but it's like you're really good with numbers. Me, why haven't you even looked into this and played with it in your head? Like, oh, what could, $2 grand do for me if I were to do this and watch this? And like numbers are fun to me and watching things do this is fucking fun. I don't know why I've never read into this stuff.
So like,
but again,
in the
taking
past,
too much on.
In the past 5 years, the S&P 500 is up 65%.
Fuck off.
So you divide that by 5 and that's like over 10% a year gain.
Yeah.
And there was this experiment that they did where this guy said that basically like trust funds and brokerages are just where people take your money and then they play in the stock market with it and they take a fee out of it and go, this is what I made you. I'm taking this much off the top. And this guy was like, this shit is a scam. I bet you I think he said, I bet like $1 million that I could take monkeys and put up the stock market on the newspaper, because this was decades ago, and they could throw darts blindfolded at the market and pick stocks that would do just as good as the top trust fund brokers. And so they did the experiment. They were like, fuck yeah, let's do it. The monkeys beat them. They not only did as well as them, they beat them. And they've done this experiment time and time again. And the brokers can't do better. It's like 99%, or like I think it's 90% of brokers can't outperform the market on average over a long period of time.
Right.
Short term, sure. They'll pick the stocks that are trending upwards, and then they'll make money and they'll get out and they'll keep doing that.
Yeah.
But long term, they're going to take losses. They're going to lose money, and you don't beat the index funds, the S&P 500 and the
Correct me if
NASDAQ.
I'm wrong, but like the original money that you were to put into like a stock, right? So let's just say in 2005, you put in $1,000. That was $1,000 in 2005. By the time it's 2010, because of the fluctuation of like money becoming, I don't know how I'm going to phrase this, but basically your money becomes more valuable as time goes because of like not inflation per se.
No, but because the things that you've put your money into are worth more now.
Okay, so yeah, it's just that everything grows gradually. Like that's
because you know what a stock is, right? Like a share of a stock.
Yeah,
it's just like you own a piece of a company,
very
and that
small sliver of a cake.
Yeah, and that company is now growing and worth more money, and so you're literally what you invested into that company, your money is now worth more.
Yeah, because like if you were to take $1,000 in 2005, put it in your bank, and then look at it in 2010, it's still $1,000. But if you take that 1,000 and put it in 5 years later, or into the stock, and 5 years later look at it, it's now, let's just call it 1,200 for the sake of fucking argument. It grows on its own naturally without you even doing anything.
If you put $1,000
crashes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like if you put $1,000 5 years ago, it'd be worth $1,600. But if you put $1,000 and you just hold it cash, it is no longer worth $1,000 in 5 years. It's worth like $950 because inflation, and your money doesn't gain any value.
So like
it's not even, but when you said like you put $1,000 in your bank account and it's worth $1,000 in 5 years, it's not even worth $1,000. It's worth less because you're buying power.
That's why I said in your bank, in your wallet, like the cash is
the
still
purchasing
the cash.
power is lower with the cash. So like $1,000 5 years ago would have bought you more than $1,000 now does. So
that's
it's even worse to just hold it. Like a lot of savings accounts will give you like a 2% interest rate just so you can keep up with inflation.
Right.
So you don't lose money over the time that you have the banks holding your money.
Interesting. I didn't even think it's to keep up with it. I just thought it was like, oh, it's a benefit, but no, really,
it's literally just to keep your money at the same value. But if you're Uncle Scrooge and you take your money, you're hiding under your mattress, that is the worst thing you can do because it is consistently 2 to 3% a year losing.
Wasn't the last
power.
crash in
2008?
That's exactly what I was going to say. I just didn't.
That was the real estate market crash, and that was because people were giving out loans left and right to anybody, no matter what their credit was.
Oh,
because they were like, the stock market, the real estate market is doing so well that we can just give out these loans to everyone, and then. Come a couple years, people were like, oh no, I can't pay this. I have 2 houses and I work at Target. I can't pay this. And so they would all foreclose and file for bankruptcy, and all of these huge banks that were giving out all this money couldn't pay off the money they gave out.
Yeah.
And the government basically was like, we're going to save you, but like only because it saves the fucking world from this crash. Because that crash affects the entire world. The U.S. market is like the most influential one.
Yeah.
And so,
wonder how many people have tuned out.
I don't know.
I don't. Not that I care, but I'm just curious.
I try to make it as simple and enjoyable as possible.
I'm enjoying the conversation.
And like people who are investing in the stock market long term see a crash as like a sale. And so, like if the NASDAQ shares are worth $100 and then it crashes 50% and 50% of your money is gone in a night. All these long-term investors see is, oh wow, 50% off on these stocks that I've been buying for 10 years anyway.
Yeah.
And so they then take $10,000 more and what they would have gotten like 100 or 1,000 shares for, they get twice as much.
And that's what I was actually just about to say. Is like the next time it crashes is when I'm going to get involved.
Dude, literally it would be the best time.
Just going to sit there and wait. Just be like, wait till everybody starts freaking the fuck out and then buy in.
Yeah, and it's the best time to. And then because the market consistently, unless it's going to be like the end of society as a whole, the economy eventually bounces back.
Yeah.
Every depression and recession that we've gone through, the money goes back up.
Those are just the largest fluctuations.
Exactly. Those are just the largest. But if you look at it on a very long time span, it goes up.
I think that's what's just so scary about it is that like there's a gamble and then there's an even bigger gamble that hides behind that. So it's like
yeah. And that's why putting your money over the entire market is the safest thing, because stocks go up and down every day.
Yeah.
The market doesn't. And so, for instance, there's a calculator that I was using, and hopefully I still have it up.
Do I still have the stocks app? I do. Welcome to stocks. I haven't opened it on this phone. Oh my God. Ugh.
All right, so here we go. For instance, let's say you make $75,000.
Okay.
And you make that much in a year, obviously, and you want to be aggressive with your investing. How much money would you want to put a year into?
If I made 75,000, like after taxes?
Yeah.
Fucking, I don't know, like 20 of it, 25 of it.
All right. We'll say 25 grand, and we'll say $0 is what you're starting with. And you put in $25,000 a year, and years to grow. We'll put that in after. And the interest rate we'll put at 7%, because that's in between 6 and 8.
Okay.
7% interest rate. Let's say you did that 25 grand out of your 75, so you're making 50K, you're chilling. You're able to pay your bills and do all that stuff and have fun and still know that your money's going in a good place. Over the course of 5 years, if you were to do that, say you did it for 5 years and forgot about it. You look at your money, you have $153,000.
Jesus.
And you have put in yourself $125,000.
Yeah.
So you gained
25
grand, a little over 25 grand, just because you did that.
Right.
Which is crazy, because if you put that in your savings, you're not getting 25 grand.
You're making another 28 grand over 5 years for doing nothing.
Mm-hmm. And so if you made 25 grand in 5 years, then if you did it for another 5 years, you would think, okay, I'm going to make like 50 grand.
No, because
you have $369,000 now.
And you've invested
$250,000. Right. So you've made 100 grand.
Yeah.
Over the course of 10 years.
Yeah.
Because you just put it in something that grows
so
at a small percentage, something that's like, yay, 7%. I made $7 on $100.
Yeah.
And watch how in 15 years it goes from 300,000 to 672,000.
Jesus.
And I don't even want to put 20 years. In 18 years, you're at 900 grand. You're almost at $1 million. And at 7% interest rate, you'd be making 70 grand basically off of that every year. You're throwing in 25 grand, and then the market is giving you another 70.
The only thing is like, it's just like you look at it and you're like, yeah, but I could put more. And then you get addicted, and then that's the thing. Then you're fucking 50, and you're like, I don't want to touch it, but you should.
Yeah, but then and that's I keep saying that's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah. That's my fucking catchphrase apparently. The focus of that is you don't even have to take your profits off of, like, because you know what a principal is? It's like the amount that you put in. Mm-hmm. So let's say like you have $1 million in the stock market and you make $70,000 off of that. Mm-hmm. Your principal is the $1 million, even though you're worth now $1,070,000. You can take just the profits off, and that $1 million never goes away. But you don't even have to take the amount that the principal makes. You can take 4% out, and that would leave whatever else you make to then help that principal grow.
It just builds on top of the building, right? Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
And so if you start, say you made 75 grand, you just somehow found this amazing gig that paid that much, and you started doing that this year, you would literally be worth $1 million by the time you're 40 something, 45.
Wild.
Yeah, 43 even.
I'm gonna be worth that much anyway.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So like, if for instance, in the beautiful fantasy that this podcast explodes and we make good money, you know where I'm putting it.
Yeah.
Because like if it does some crazy numbers and we're making like, a ton of money, like more than the regular person, I'll be retired at 30.
You know where I'm putting it? In bitches.
Bitches. Put it under my mattress.
I ain't touching shit.
But yeah, so if anybody is interested in that kind of stuff, there are 2.
Join my classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
I have a class that I'm starting for 5 easy payments of $19.99.
It's not a pyramid scheme.
It is a triangle strategy.
It's an upside down triangle. I heard somebody fucking say that to me once. I won't say who. It pissed me off. But I was like, oh, so it's a pyramid scheme. And I'm like, yeah, but it's more like it's like an upside down pyramid scheme. And I said, what does that mean? Does more money trickle down the sides and go to the person that's at the bottom, but they're at the top? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? An upside down pyramid. Eat dick.
The point I was getting to was if anybody is interested in this kind of stuff and wants to know how the fuck I was able to learn it and make it simple, there are 2 YouTubers that I highly recommend. One's name is Andre Jick, and he specializes talking about the stock market.
J, how do you spell it?
And so how you spell his name is ANDREI JIKH.
Okay, no.
He's Russian, but he has no accent. And he talks mainly about stocks and investing in the stock market as a whole and spreading your money out. And the other guy I would recommend is this guy named Graham Stephan. And he spells his name GrahamStephan. And he talks about investing, but he talks more about real estate. But these guys break it down into like YouTube culture enjoyability.
Oh, nice.
And they go like,
Nice
when I was this age
on the screen and all this.
Yeah. When I was on this age, I didn't know shit, blah, blah, blah. And now I understand this because of these things. Here's books you can read. Here's things you can try. Here's the best way to invest $100. Here's this, and that. And they're so enjoyable that you get addicted to watching the videos, but you actually learn.
Oh, nice.
And
good for them.
Yeah. And this dude, Graham Stephan, he started his YouTube channel, I think in 2017. And in
this was the guy you were talking about.
2019, he made $1 million off of his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Off of selling courses and ad revenue and this, and that. Like he made $1 million off of it.
Good for him.
And this Andre Jick dude made, I think, 30 grand in his first year starting off of YouTube. And it's like, these guys are smart. They know what they're doing and they're making a ton of money talking about it and doing it.
Yeah.
And so if people want to go learn about that and possibly like get your future in check.
Imagine in the future somebody refers back to this of like, yeah, this is how I found those guys and now I'm a millionaire. And it's like,
yeah, right?
From our podcast.
That would be
fucking
crazy.
Cool.
That would be nuts.
With that, I got to wrap up because
I got to pee
so
bad.
do I. I was like,
So
please
bad.
tell me he's going to be done soon because fuck.
Like a racehorse.
With that, I think that's pretty much it. Did I write anything else? Topics? I just wrote down central theme of wearing the same shit because I was like, eventually people are going to be like, yo, do you wear anything else? Not only am I in my own house and I wear fucking sweats all day because comfy, but the joke in the beginning for the first, 40 episodes was gray. And now it's just like black. All black. So white jumpsuits will eventually happen.
White jumpsuits.
But that's episode 61, everybody. Thank you for listening.
We love you all very much.
Yeah, I think this one was pretty good.
Yeah, fun one.
Like nice little catching up.
Don't know how we'll do a fucking clip for this, but it was a good
I have
time.
an idea.
Okay.
All right.
Sick. We'll end it on that.
Cool. Until next time, go fuck yourself. Yeah. Yeah, I almost fucking forgot that shit. Okay. Bye.